What's so funny?
Just think of a joke.
Now you know that in ancient times, all kings had at their courts a court fool. And sometimes it probably was true that the fool was a crazy person who had a peculiar capacity for making inappropriate remarks. And there's something about inappropriate remarks that can be very funny. He was reminding you of your finitude, of your mortality, and death at the end, in somewhat the same way as monks used to keep on the desks in their cells a grinning skull. But actually, as time went on, the function of the fool became more sophisticated than that. And he became a person whose function was not simply to make jokes and to be a funny man, but to remind the monarch of his humanity. And all this is, of course, nowadays thought very morbid, because today we repress death very, very strongly. In some ways, the fool, or the joker, and the monk have a parallel function. The monk is a person who abandons society. He is an outlaw. Only he's an outlaw on the upper side instead of on the lower side. As the ordinary criminal is, as it were, below caste, the outlaw, in the sense of the monk, is above caste. And in the Buddhist religion, at its inception, the followers of the Buddha wore those dark yellow robes because those were the garments of criminals. And so they took on the garments and external appearance of the lower outcasts, but they were in fact respected as upper outcasts. He sees the whole world as game playing. And that's why when people take their game seriously and put on stern and pious expressions, the fool gets the giggles, because he knows it's all a game. Knowing it's a game and still playing it. And doing this is what in Mahayana Buddhism is called being a bodhisattva. A bodhisattva is a person who doesn't give his show away completely. He doesn't simply release his consciousness from playing the human game. He is released and yet still in it. He knows the human game is a game, but he goes on playing it with considerable gusto. And his gusto derives in a great deal from the fact of knowing it's a game. You see, you can do that. And it's one of the peculiar properties of self-consciousness. Non-participation of the monk isn't so bad, but the person who somehow suggests that society occasionally is something that needs to be giggled at. You see, this is the whole position. The joker doesn't outrightly deride things. He's not a slapstick comedian. He gives people the giggles about things that they thought were terribly sacred. And that is extremely demoralizing.
people of Gotham City, the moment you have all been waiting for. The grand finale, the climax of my performance, the zenith of my career. The unmasking of Batman and Robin, the boy wonder.
When you start talking about involving yourself in any of this seriously, to the point that you're investing emotional capital in anything, I think you should take a step back.
Hey, Joker, cops cars in the street.
Oh, let's Jesus.
Batman and Boy Wonder. Are your blindfolds in place? Very well then. Ask yourselves, what is wrong with this sentence? He who laughs last, laughs good.
Dude, I don't be wanting to tell nobody anything about nothing I got going on. If it's anything other than that about a personal experience I've had, I'd rather keep it to myself. I go on entirely too many solo missions. If you talk to most people who know me, they're gonna say he always show up by himself. We know we got other people in his life, but when we see him, he is typically alone.
The tricky trickster, he's outwitting us. Oh, dear me. The court jester must run, just in time. Well, goodbye, kiddies. And remember, I was here, huh?
Criminals aren't complicated, Alfred. We just need to figure out what he's after.
With respect, Master Wayne, perhaps this is a man you don't fully understand either. A long time ago, I was in Burma. My friends and I were working for the local government. They were trying to buy the loyalty of tribal leaders by bribing them with precious stones. But their caravans were being raided in a forest north of Rangoon by a bandit. So we went looking for the stones. But in 6 months, we never met anyone who traded with him. One day, I saw a child playing with a ruby the size of a tangerine. The bandit had been throwing them away.
So why steal them?
Well, because he thought it was good sport. Because some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Tell me, I be wanting to get you back. The less people that know we even got beef, the better.
You're going to have to answer for that!
Let's end this, Joker. Just you and me.
With pleasure!
Investing emotional capital into things only tend to allow you to be manipulated. Because you're going to take logic and reason out of it. And logic and reason, even if you don't like it, I can certainly use it to understand how a square operates. You know, because a square is going to use logic and reason. He's going to do good square business. Nothing wrong with that. You need squares and people that just want to do good, honest business. Good, honest business has to be done. You know what I mean? But when you start talking about, you know, emotionally aligning yourself with some of these political parties or affiliations, or let's say gang affiliations or whatnot, you know, you're better off rolling alone. You know, family and keeping the circle as small as absolutely possible. And by demonstration, you teach your kids how to roll alone. You know. They see that you could be self-sufficient and independent, and they know that they can be as well, you know.
Why don't we think about this, Joker?
Think about it. What is this? Have you gone soft, my little savage?
Well, I bet he wouldn't try to knock you off if he had the chance.
Oh, no. He'd merely try to incarcerate me in durance vile for the rest of my life. Oh, a fate much worse than death for a spirit such as mine. Oh, Don't think about it, my dear. Think about how simple things will be with Batman out of our way forever. Think of all the things you can buy with what we can steal.
When you come into this world alone, you're gonna die alone. So, life meant to be lived alone. You know? Yeah, you got family. That's just how everything got to be structured. That's just how human beings have to come into this world. But you know, any of that, fraternities, cliques, gangs, political parties, any of that, religions. You know what I mean? I really don't like being tied to none of that. I'm telling you, real talk.
Dead.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I saw him loading around a meat wagon from the city morgue. The boy wonder was bawling his head off.
Oh, well, it had to be done, my bad pennies. What's the death of a greedy little dupe? This life at best is one long, impractical joke. Have a memorial cigar.
Why, thank you, Joker.
The brief shadow is lifted. I'm my own humorous self again. What's the hour?
5:22.
Quick, cameras, disguises. It's time for my greatest strike.
At the end of your message, press 1.
Cultivate, maintain relationships properly. Ironically enough, it makes it easier for you to be a loner. Because when you do come in contact with folks, you know how to communicate with them. You know, there's no ego there. But when you around people all the time, it's been in my experience that they tend to rub you the wrong way. You know? It's easier for me to have patience with people because I don't be around folk like that. The more you stay and take a break around from people, the easier it'll be when you do come around to deal with them. Even friends, family, you know, the longer you stay away, you know, the better they treat you when you come around. Especially if you know how to, you know, exchange pleasantries, listen. As long as you know how to communicate with people and actively listen to folks, you're gonna always have friends. Everybody loves an available ear. So just being a good listener will allow you a lot of friends. Being busy and doing stuff, no. If you want to repel or get rid of people, get busy. Start doing stuff. Folks don't want to do anything. They certainly don't want to make any sacrifices, do any work. So let them do any work that they ain't getting paid for, they'll leave real quick. If you get somebody that attach themselves to you, start trying to come over to your house all the time, that's how you get rid of them. Yeah, I was just about to clean up, won't you help out? Yeah, I was just about to get some work done, won't you pitch in? Yeah, I was just about to go for a run, won't you tag along? I'm telling you, I had to get rid of somebody quick. Yeah. But being willing to help somebody or get you a friend quick. You're willing to help out, sacrifice some time, you know, put what you need to get done aside to help out somebody else so you'll have a friend. That's how you maintain a good relationship. But that's how people take advantage of it. If you put other people's needs before yours, people are gonna take advantage of it before long. They appreciate it for a little while, but eventually they'll just like you and respect you. Better to be respected than liked. I read a book a while back, The Likability Factor, where it talks about every likable trait you're trading off a respectable one.
I have been discussing the role of a certain person called the Joker. The Joker being the one who has insight into the fact that all our social institutions are games. The social game is played with an initial rule. The first rule being this game is serious, or this game is not a game. And therefore there is a tendency within society to resist very strongly any notion that what it is doing is not altogether serious. And at a still deeper level, beneath the level of social institutions, there is also the recognition on the part of the Joker that the basic forms of nature are also games. But when people take games seriously, and part of the fun of a game, you must remember, is to take it seriously, they acquire an attitude which strikes the Joker as being half funny and sometimes a little pitiful. A good Joker is inclined, really, not to laugh at people, because if a person is terribly seriously involved, in the sense of the kind of person we call colloquially a square, the Joker feels sorry for them because they live a deprived life. But the point is that he is the one who is a wild man, which is to say, he has no fixed role. He can play, as the Joker can in the deck of cards, any role. And in a way, in that sense, all of us are roles of the Joker. Because the real Joker, of whom any human Joker is a manifestation, the real Joker is Brahman.
Great in a social setting, but when it's time to get serious, you usually tell that guy shut up if you don't dismiss him completely. The same way the guy you respect, the square, who doesn't smoke, who doesn't drink, who doesn't party, who you really wouldn't want to go out and hang with socially, is most likely the guy who you want to discuss serious matters with. It's the reason why that respectable lawman character was always the marshal or the sheriff. Those honorable, respectable traits, but that's not who you want to go to the saloon with and have a drink with. He's a square. He probably doesn't drink anyway, and that's why you respect him. That's also why you don't like him. He thinks you drink too much. He judges you. He thinks that's the root of all your problems, the family issues, But if things was to get serious, like I say, if hoodlums was to run inside of the town and rob this city bank, then, you go into the people who you respect the most and ask for leadership. Best be respectable, more than liked, And that's going to take a degree of withstanding from being in certain social settings with folks. I don't care how square it may appear, Because even the people who are socially involved in just hanging out, it's still a degree of, you should at least take the game itself a bit more serious, And those who are too serious, yes, you most certainly say, oh, Jesus. I mean, it's all a game anyway. None of it really matters. Nothing really matters. You got an innumerable amount of lifetimes to be enlightened and hop off of that samsara wheel, become a Buddha. No rush.
No more will they jeer and scoff or cut their circulation off. If they do not see the joke, pull the ropes and let them choke.
Especially if you're doing crime. If you playing the street game. If you're playing the street game, I suggest you play it alone. There's no loyalty in the game or nothing. Dudes will use you up so quick, bruh. No loyalty in the game. Dude, gotta get slick, gotta get tricky. You know, the less people involved in what you got going on, the better. I can account for how I'm gonna react, what I'm gonna do. Take as much time as I need. Plan for as long as I want. Account for all the factors that I think can happen. But with somebody else, can't control how you gonna act. I can't control how you gonna respond. You get all in your feelings, all in your emotions. I'm telling you. Crime or any of that, you gotta do alone. I mean, essentially, business is still getting a pile of something that's a surplus in one place to something that's scarce in another. You know, guns down here in Georgia is relatively cheap and easy to come by. New York City, no. If you get a van full of guns and go up to New York City and you get caught, you are most certainly going to prison for a very long time. But if you don't get caught, you rich. You done made it. You got a nice start. Risk, you know? Just saying. ATF catch you though, I'ma holla at you. Up that road you go. Just saying. You can get slick about hiding something, stuffing something. It's easier to move along. You draw suspicion that one man dressed down, fitting in, even if you're not an NPC. But if you look like one and you sneaky, oh, you can do anything. You can accomplish anything. You can get into any place, anywhere, you know? Especially if it's just about money and it's not about attention you trying to get. You're not trying to get clout, fame, any of that. You're just trying to steal. Get in and get out. Please, you gotta do stuff like that by yourself. You have to be that archetype nowadays. Nowadays, it's more a liability than ever to deal with other people. They weird in their feelings, you know?